The B-1B Lancer is one of the most famous strategic bombers ever built and remains one of the most powerful aircraft in the history of military aviation. Known by its nickname, Bone, which comes from the pronunciation of B-1, the aircraft represents decades of technological innovation, Cold War competition, and combat experience. Its story begins during one of the most tense periods in modern history, when the United States and the Soviet Union were engaged in a global rivalry known as the Cold War. During the 1960s, military planners in the United States became concerned that existing strategic bombers such as the B-52 Stratofortress might eventually become vulnerable to increasingly advanced Soviet air defense systems. The Soviet Union was deploying powerful radar networks, surface-to-air missile systems, and modern interceptor aircraft capable of detecting and attacking enemy bombers long before they reached their targets. American military leaders realized that a new bomber would eventually be required if the United States wanted to maintain a credible strategic deterrent and preserve its ability to strike targets deep inside enemy territory. The aircraft would need to fly farther, carry more weapons, travel faster, and survive in heavily defended airspace. The search for such an aircraft eventually led to the creation of the Advanced Manned Strategic Aircraft Program, which later evolved into what would become the B-1 bomber project. Engineers envisioned an aircraft capable of combining high speed, long range, and massive payload capacity, while also possessing advanced avionics and survivability features. Unlike previous bombers, the new aircraft would need to adapt to multiple mission profiles and operate effectively at both high and low altitudes. One of the most important technological features selected for the aircraft was a variable sweep wing design. This innovative system allowed the wings to change position during flight. When extended forward, the wings provided greater lift and improved handling during takeoff and landing. When swept backward, the aircraft could achieve much higher speeds while reducing aerodynamic drag. This feature allowed engineers to create a bomber that could perform effectively across a wide range of flight conditions. Development officially accelerated in the late 1960s, and aerospace companies competed for the opportunity to build the new strategic bomber. Eventually, Rockwell International won the contract and began work on what became known as the B-1A. The aircraft represented a major leap forward compared to earlier bomber designs. Its sleek shape, advanced engines, sophisticated electronics, and variable geometry wings made it one of the most ambitious aviation projects ever undertaken by the United States Air Force. The first prototype B-1A successfully completed its maiden flight on December 23, 1974. Aviation experts immediately recognized that the aircraft possessed extraordinary performance characteristics. The bomber was capable of speeds exceeding Mach 2, which meant it could travel at more than twice the speed of sound. This remarkable speed would have allowed the aircraft to penetrate enemy airspace quickly while reducing exposure to hostile defenses. Test pilots praised the aircraft's handling characteristics and overall performance. Throughout the 1970s, additional prototypes were built and extensive flight testing was conducted. Engineers evaluated every aspect of the bomber, including its aerodynamics, avionics, weapons systems, navigation equipment, and structural integrity. Despite impressive performance results, the B-1A program faced significant political and financial challenges. Developing such a sophisticated aircraft required enormous investment, and debates emerged regarding whether strategic bombers remained necessary in an era increasingly dominated by intercontinental ballistic missiles and submarine-launched nuclear weapons. Some policymakers argued that missiles could perform strategic deterrence missions more effectively and at lower cost. As a result, the future of the bomber became uncertain. In 1977, the administration of President Jimmy Carter decided to cancel full-scale production of the B-1A. The decision generated controversy among military leaders and aviation experts. Supporters of the bomber argued that manned aircraft provided flexibility that missiles could never match. Unlike ballistic missiles, bombers could be recalled after launch, redirected toward new targets, and used for conventional missions in addition to nuclear operations. Although the cancellation appeared to end the program, international events soon altered the strategic landscape. During the late 1970s and early 1980s, tensions between the United States and the Soviet Union intensified once again. Soviet military modernization programs raised concerns among American defense planners, New radar systems, interceptor aircraft, and missile defenses continued to improve. At the same time, military strategists increasingly appreciated the unique advantages offered by manned bombers. In 1981, the administration of President Ronald Reagan announced plans to revive the bomber program in a modified form. Instead of simply continuing production of the original B-1A, engineers redesigned many aspects of the aircraft to improve survivability and operational effectiveness. The resulting aircraft became known as the B-1B Lancer. Although it resembled the earlier B-1A externally, numerous changes had been implemented internally. The B-1B sacrificed some maximum speed in exchange for improved low-altitude penetration capability and reduced radar visibility. Engineers modified the airframe, strengthened the structure, upgraded avionics systems, and improved electronic warfare equipment. One of the primary goals of the redesign was enabling the bomber to fly at very low altitudes while following terrain contours. By flying close to the ground, the aircraft could use hills, valleys, and other terrain features to remain hidden from enemy radar systems. This technique significantly increased survivability when penetrating defended airspace. The B-1B also incorporated advanced radar warning receivers, electronic countermeasures, jamming equipment, and defensive avionics designed to help crews detect and evade threats. Production officially began in the 1980s, and the first operational aircraft entered service with the United States Air Force in 1986. A total of 100 B-1B bombers were eventually built, creating one of the largest strategic bomber fleets of the modern era. Each aircraft measured approximately 146 feet in length and featured a wingspan that could vary significantly depending on wing position. Four powerful General Electric F-101GE-102 afterburning turbofan engines provided the aircraft with exceptional thrust. Together, these engines produced more than 120,000 pounds of thrust, allowing the bomber to accelerate rapidly and carry enormous payloads over vast distances. The aircraft's internal fuel capacity supported intercontinental operations, enabling missions that could span thousands of miles without refueling. When combined with aerial refueling capabilities, the bomber could remain airborne for extraordinarily long periods and reach targets almost anywhere on Earth. During the final years of the Cold War, the B-1B served primarily as a nuclear deterrent platform. Its mission was to remain ready to deliver nuclear weapons if conflict ever erupted between the United States and the Soviet Union. Fortunately, such a conflict never occurred. Instead, the bomber entered service during a period of dramatic geopolitical change. By the end of the 1980s, the Cold War was approaching its conclusion. The collapse of communist governments throughout Eastern Europe and the eventual dissolution of the Soviet Union fundamentally transformed global security dynamics. As the strategic environment evolved, so too did the mission of the B-1B Lancer. Rather than focusing exclusively on nuclear deterrence, military planners increasingly recognized its enormous potential as a conventional strike aircraft capable of delivering precision-guided weapons against a wide variety of targets. This transformation would ultimately make the B-1B one of the most heavily utilized bombers in modern American military history, and establish its reputation as a versatile combat aircraft capable of supporting operations around the world. As the Cold War ended and global military priorities changed, the B-1B Lancer entered a completely new chapter in its history. During the early years of service, the bomber had been optimized primarily for nuclear missions. But by the 1990s, the United States Air Force began transforming the aircraft into a conventional strike platform. This transition required extensive modifications to avionics, targeting systems, communications equipment, and weapons integration capabilities. Military planners quickly realized that the B-1B possessed several characteristics that made it exceptionally useful for conventional warfare. It could carry more weapons than any other bomber in the American inventory, travel enormous distances without stopping, remain airborne for extended periods, and rapidly respond to changing battlefield conditions. These advantages would soon be tested in real combat operations. The bomber's first combat deployment occurred during Operation Desert Fox in December 1998. The operation targeted military facilities and infrastructure in Iraq after concerns regarding Iraqi compliance with United Nations resolutions. Although relatively limited compared to later conflicts, Desert Fox marked an important milestone. because it represented the first time the B-1B participated in combat operations. The successful deployment demonstrated that the aircraft could effectively perform conventional strike missions and opened the door for broader operational use. The following year, the bomber played a role in Operation Allied Force during the Kosovo conflict. NATO forces launched an extensive air campaign against Serbian military targets in response to escalating violence in the Balkans. The B-1B quickly proved its value during the operation. Despite representing only a small percentage of participating aircraft, the bomber delivered a significant portion of the total ordnance dropped during the campaign. Its ability to carry large numbers of bombs allowed it to attack multiple targets during a single mission, increasing operational efficiency and reducing the number of aircraft required to achieve mission objectives. Military analysts noted that the bomber's payload capacity made it one of the most effective strike assets available during the conflict. However, the event that truly established the B-1B's legendary reputation occurred after the terrorist attacks of September 11, 2001. Following the attacks, the United States launched Operation Enduring Freedom in Afghanistan. The country's challenging geography created unique operational demands. Mountainous terrain, remote regions, and rapidly changing battlefield conditions required aircraft capable of remaining on station for long periods while delivering precise firepower whenever ground forces requested support. The B-1B excelled in this role. Unlike traditional strike aircraft that often carried limited numbers of weapons, the bomber could transport dozens of precision-guided munitions while remaining airborne for many hours. This capability transformed battlefield operations. American and coalition forces frequently called upon B-1B crews to provide immediate air support against hostile positions. Equipped with advanced targeting systems and precision-guided joint direct attack munitions, commonly known as JDAMs, the aircraft could engage targets accurately while minimizing collateral damage. Ground commanders often praised the bomber because it effectively functioned as a flying arsenal continuously available to support troops. In many cases, a single B-1B could remain over a combat area longer than multiple smaller aircraft combined. This persistent presence became one of the bomber's most valuable attributes. Crews regularly flew missions lasting well over 10 hours, sometimes extending far longer when aerial refueling support was available. During operations in Afghanistan, the bomber frequently destroyed enemy compounds, command centers, supply depots, training camps, and fortified positions. The aircraft's large payload capacity allowed crews to engage multiple targets during a single sortie, while still retaining additional weapons for emerging threats. As military operations expanded, the B-1B continued demonstrating extraordinary versatility. When Operation Iraqi Freedom began in 2003, the bomber once again became a critical component of American air power. During the opening stages of the conflict, B-1B crews conducted long-range strike missions against strategic targets throughout Iraq. The aircraft attacked command facilities, air defense systems, military headquarters, communication networks, ammunition storage areas, and other high-value objectives. Precision-guided munitions enabled crews to strike targets with remarkable accuracy while reducing risks to civilian populations and friendly forces. The bomber's combination of range, endurance, speed, and payload proved especially valuable during dynamic combat situations, where targets frequently changed and rapid response was essential. Throughout the Iraq conflict, the B-1B accumulated thousands of combat flight hours and delivered vast quantities of precision-guided ordnance. Military commanders repeatedly emphasized the aircraft's reliability and effectiveness. One reason for this success was continuous modernization. As combat experience accumulated, engineers introduced new technologies that enhanced operational capabilities. Improved communication systems allowed crews to receive updated targeting information in real time. Advanced targeting pods provided superior identification and tracking of ground targets. Enhanced networking capabilities enabled integration with other aircraft, satellites, intelligence platforms, and ground forces. These upgrades transformed the bomber from a traditional strategic aircraft into a highly flexible battlefield asset capable of supporting modern network-centric warfare. One of the B-1B's most impressive characteristics is its enormous payload capacity. The aircraft can carry approximately 75,000 pounds of weapons internally. making it the largest conventional weapons carrier in the United States Air Force. Its 3 internal weapons bays can accommodate a wide variety of munitions depending on mission requirements. Over the years, the bomber has carried unguided bombs, laser-guided weapons, satellite-guided JDAMs, naval mines, cluster munitions, and long-range standoff missiles. This flexibility allows military planners to tailor loadouts for specific operational objectives. Whether conducting strategic strikes against heavily defended targets or providing close air support to ground troops, the aircraft can be configured accordingly. The bomber's ability to employ precision-guided weapons revolutionized its operational effectiveness. Earlier generations of bombers often relied on large numbers of unguided bombs to ensure target destruction. Modern precision weapons allow a single munition to achieve effects that previously required multiple aircraft and dozens of bombs. As a result, the B-1B became significantly more efficient while simultaneously reducing unintended damage. Beyond Afghanistan and Iraq, the bomber participated in numerous other operations during the 21st century. It supported missions against terrorist organizations throughout the Middle East and contributed to coalition efforts targeting ISIS in Iraq and Syria. During these campaigns, the aircraft's endurance and payload capacity once again proved invaluable. B-1B crews frequently conducted long-duration missions during which they provided continuous support to coalition forces engaged in ground combat. The bomber's advanced sensors, communication systems, and precision weapons allowed it to respond rapidly to emerging targets while maintaining a safe distance from hostile defenses. By the mid-2010s, the aircraft had accumulated an extraordinary combat record spanning multiple conflicts and geographic regions. Few military aircraft have demonstrated such consistent adaptability across dramatically different operational environments. Originally designed to penetrate Soviet air defenses during a potential nuclear conflict, the B-1B evolved into one of the most effective conventional strike aircraft ever built. Its transformation reflects both technological innovation and changing military doctrine. Rather than remaining limited to its original mission, the bomber continuously adapted to new challenges, ensuring its relevance decades after entering service. Even today, military strategists continue studying the aircraft's operational history as an example of how flexible design and ongoing modernization can extend the usefulness of complex weapon systems far beyond their initial expectations. One of the reasons the B-1B Lancer remains such an impressive aircraft decades after its introduction is the extraordinary technology built into its design. Although the bomber first entered service in the 1980s, many of its engineering solutions were far ahead of their time. At first glance, the aircraft immediately attracts attention because of its distinctive variable sweep wings. Unlike conventional aircraft with fixed wings, the B-1B can change the angle of its wings while flying. During takeoff and landing, the wings are extended forward to generate maximum lift and improve handling characteristics. As speed increases, the wings gradually sweep backward, reducing aerodynamic drag and allowing more efficient high-speed flight. This capability gives the bomber remarkable flexibility across a wide range of missions and operating conditions. Few military aircraft have successfully incorporated such a sophisticated system on the scale seen in the B-1B. The wing mechanism itself represents an engineering achievement involving powerful hydraulic systems, reinforced structural components, and advanced flight controls designed to ensure smooth and reliable operation under extreme conditions. The aircraft's structure is built primarily from aluminum alloys, combined with titanium and composite materials in critical areas. Engineers carefully designed the airframe to withstand the intense stresses associated with low-altitude, high-speed flight. During Cold War planning, B-1B crews were expected to fly through hostile airspace at extremely low altitudes while maneuvering aggressively to avoid detection and missile threats. Such operations subjected the aircraft to substantial aerodynamic forces, requiring exceptional structural strength. The bomber's 4 General Electric F-101G-EE-102 afterburning turbofan engines provide the power necessary to accomplish these demanding missions. Each engine produces approximately 30,000 pounds of thrust when afterburners are engaged. Together, the 4 engines generate enormous power, allowing the aircraft to accelerate rapidly despite its massive size and heavy payload. The engines combine fuel efficiency with high performance, enabling long-range operations while maintaining excellent speed capabilities. Under ideal conditions, the B-1B can reach speeds exceeding 900 miles per hour, making it one of the fastest operational bombers in the world. While not as fast as the original B-1A prototype, which exceeded Mach 2, the B-1B was intentionally optimized for survivability and operational effectiveness rather than absolute speed. Another remarkable feature is the aircraft's range. Without aerial refueling, the bomber can travel thousands of miles, crossing oceans and continents while carrying a full combat load. With tanker support, its effective range becomes virtually global. This capability allows missions originating in the United States to strike targets halfway around the world and return home without requiring foreign bases. Such flexibility provides military planners with enormous strategic advantages. During several combat operations, B-1B crews conducted missions lasting more than 20 hours, demonstrating extraordinary endurance by both the aircraft and its personnel. The bomber's crew consists of 4 highly trained individuals. The aircraft commander, usually referred to as the pilot, is responsible for overall operation of the aircraft. The co-pilot assists with flight management, navigation, and mission execution. The offensive systems officer manages targeting systems, weapons employment, and attack planning. The defensive systems officer oversees electronic warfare equipment, threat detection systems, and defensive countermeasures. Together, these specialists operate one of the most complex combat aircraft ever created. Inside the cockpit, advanced avionics systems provide crews with enormous amounts of information regarding navigation, aircraft performance, weather conditions, enemy threats, and mission objectives. Modern upgrades have replaced many older components with digital systems featuring improved reliability and enhanced situational awareness. One of the B-1B's greatest strengths is its sophisticated electronic warfare capability. Modern battlefields contain numerous threats including radar-guided missiles, anti-aircraft artillery, interceptor aircraft, and advanced surveillance systems. To survive in such environments, the bomber employs an extensive collection of defensive technologies. Radar warning receivers continuously monitor the electromagnetic environment and alert crews when hostile radar systems are detected. Electronic jammers can interfere with enemy sensors, making it more difficult for opponents to track or target the aircraft. Countermeasure systems can deploy chaff and flares to confuse incoming missiles. Combined with careful mission planning and terrain-following flight techniques, these systems significantly enhance survivability. The aircraft's radar cross-section was also reduced compared to earlier bombers. Although not a true stealth aircraft like the B-2 Spirit, the B-1B incorporates numerous design features intended to reduce radar visibility. Modified engine inlets, specialized structural shaping, and radar-absorbing materials all contribute to making the aircraft more difficult to detect. This reduction in radar signature increases the likelihood of successfully reaching heavily defended targets. The bomber's internal weapons bays represent another extraordinary aspect of its design. Unlike many combat aircraft that carry weapons externally beneath their wings, the B-1B stores most weapons internally. This arrangement reduces aerodynamic drag and improves overall performance. The aircraft can carry an astonishing variety of munitions, including precision-guided bombs, conventional gravity bombs, naval mines, and advanced standoff weapons. Depending on mission requirements, planners can configure the bomber for strategic strikes, close air support, maritime operations, or interdiction missions. During its operational history, the B-1B has repeatedly demonstrated the ability to adapt to evolving military requirements. Numerous modernization programs have expanded its capabilities far beyond those envisioned during the Cold War. Upgraded communications systems enable real-time coordination with satellites, drones, fighter aircraft, naval forces, and ground units. Enhanced data links allow crews to receive updated intelligence while already airborne. New targeting technologies improve accuracy and reduce response times. Advanced mission planning software simplifies complex operational tasks that previously required extensive manual calculations. Throughout its service life, the bomber has achieved numerous records and milestones. It has participated in some of the longest combat missions ever conducted by bomber crews. During conflicts in Afghanistan and Iraq, B-1Bs frequently delivered more precision-guided weapons than any other bomber platform. Despite representing only a portion of the strategic bomber fleet, The aircraft often accounted for a disproportionately large percentage of total ordnance delivered during major operations. Military commanders repeatedly praised its reliability, flexibility, and effectiveness. The aircraft's nickname, Bone, became widely recognized among aviation enthusiasts and military personnel alike. Crews developed deep respect for the aircraft because of its ability to perform demanding missions under difficult conditions. Maintenance personnel also played a crucial role in sustaining operational readiness, often working long hours to ensure aircraft remained available for deployment. As the decades passed, the fleet gradually decreased in size. Some aircraft were retired due to budget constraints, arms control agreements, and changing strategic priorities. Nevertheless, the remaining bombers continued receiving upgrades designed to keep them combat effective. The emergence of new threats and evolving geopolitical challenges reinforced the importance of long-range strike capabilities. Consequently, modernization efforts focused on integrating advanced weapons, improving networking capabilities, enhancing survivability, and increasing reliability. Looking toward the future, the B-1B occupies an important transitional role within American air power. New aircraft, such as the B-21 Raider, are expected to gradually assume many strategic bombing responsibilities in coming decades. However, until that transition is complete, the B-1B remains a critical component of the United States Air Force. Its combination of speed, range, payload capacity, and combat experience continues to make it one of the most capable conventional strike aircraft in existence. From its origins during the Cold War to its extensive combat service across multiple continents, the B-1B Lancer has established a legacy unmatched by many military aircraft. Designed to confront one of history's most dangerous strategic rivalries, it evolved into a versatile weapon system capable of supporting modern warfare in ways its original designers could scarcely have imagined. Decades after its first flight, the B-1B remains a symbol of technological innovation, strategic flexibility, and American aerospace engineering excellence, ensuring its place among the greatest bombers ever built.